everybody, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans.
Hair.
Come on, skunk. There's people watching. Come on. Your host or stinky hair girl. Let's go.
Got my 4 days to do my hair.
Wash your hair and get on with the show.
I'm sorry. Let's keep it going.
All right.
Let's go.
I'm your host, Sinead DeVries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is my lovely boss and editor-in-chief of AMC Movie News, John Campia.
Great citations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you from the AMC headquarters here in Burbank.
It's like Austin Powers, where it's like, instead of mole, hair. Hair.
Hi. Yeah, who's next?
Actually, Brock Lesnar.
Also here is AMC's and writer-director, John Schnepp.
I'm so glad to be here today.
And AMC's Christian Harloff.
Oh, we got to keep it together, kids.
Oh, no.
Holy Harry.
Okay, Sinead, for those of you who don't know, Sinead's got this habit of saying something right before we start the show that is so out of left field, and then go, but let's not talk about that on the show.
I don't want to talk about
She's got like a hair trigger.
Yeah, she's a hair trigger.
Oh, hey, listen, as you can see over on this sidebar here, we got lots of great topics to cover today, but as happens sometimes, a new piece of info just dropped before we started the show. The first Red Band trailer for the new Vacation movie has just dropped with Ed Helms and whatnot, and I will lead this off. I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you who've been watching this show, I have been skeptical at best about the new Vacation. I've liked a lot of the different things I've seen out of it. I like that they're getting back, some of the original cast. They got the original car back, and getting Hemsworth in there as the jerk boyfriend or husband, or whatever. It all sounds good, but I've never bought in on Ed Helms. I've just, outside of that first Vegas movie, Hangover, that he did, I've never been impressed with him. I've never been bought into him. And so I've been dubious about it. We just watched the trailer out in the foyer, and I was laughing pretty damn hard. This movie looks really, really funny. I seriously, it caught me. The tone of it is great. And Ed Helms, look, he wasn't the funniest part about the trailer, but he feels like he can be the glue that everything else revolves around in it. Even if he's not the funniest part of it, I think he's actually going to do, from seeing the trailer, it looks like he's actually going to do a pretty good job. But I got to say, man, that one shot of Chris Hemsworth and the hilarious part of that shot was simply how long they just held the shot.
Yeah.
That was great. Good job on the director's part. Great comedic timing on it. It's a really funny trailer. If you haven't seen it yet, just look it up. Vacation.
You're talking about the Thor's hammer scene, right?
Ironically, yes. Hey, Christian, you saw it. What did you think about it?
I loved the trailer, man. I've been kind of hoping this was going to be. I've liked so far what I've seen out of the pictures, and I've been happy. I do like Ed Helms a lot, and what I've seen from what we just saw this trailer, the Red Band especially, they're taking a page out of the 22 Jump Street of. We're playing off of, it's just kind of a reboot thing. And even that when he says, you don't necessarily need to see the first one to know what's going on here. I love that. And I love how you see Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo in the beginning of it. Like you said, when we were watching it, they're letting everybody know this is the same universe. Yeah. And what you also see is that it's almost like Rusty is becoming his dad. Because when you see, I felt a lot of Clark Griswold. But not just I'm doing a Clark Griswold impression. Like, this is his kid. I felt that. And he goes through the same stuff with his kids. And I can't say what the kid says, but it made me laugh. He's like, this is whatever. It looks cool. And Chris Hemsworth looks like he's going to fit that role perfectly. I'm on board so far.
Shep?
Yeah, I loved it. We were all laughing out loud. A very unexpected, like, hey, the new Vacation trailer dropped. It's a Red Band one. Yeah. Bam. It's very funny. And it had moments of, it had that little 21 Jump Street / We're the Millers, a little of that road trip flavor, like an updated, newer version of Vacation. And that's exactly what was great about them, showing little clips from the first Vacation and then launching into, hey, this is from the same universe, but you don't have to have seen, those lines. And then the scenes that followed were great. There's like a little Paul Rudd scene. They just showed little clips, and every single clip looked funny. And every single clip had like us all laughing right up all the way to the Chris Hemsworth like 6-pack, super stud shot. It was like very funny. So I was already looking forward to it, and I like Ed Helms. Now I'm completely sold, and I can't wait to see it.
And it did what I asked it to do. I asked for Holiday Road, and they put Holiday Road in there. So that's it.
What you got to do with these trailers, with these types of comedies, is you've got to put out a trailer that's going to make your audience laugh. Yeah. I mean, that's it. And this trailer did it in spades. That's honestly the funniest trailer I've seen in a long time. I can't remember the last time a trailer made me laugh that much. So I was totally on board with it. All right, what's first up officially?
As many of you will remember, a brand new Beverly Hills Cop movie starring Eddie Murphy and directed by Brett Ratner has been in development and has been scheduled to hit theaters on March 25th, 2016. However, it looks like that may no longer be happening. According to reports, Paramount Pictures has pulled Beverly Hills Cop 4 from their release schedule with no mention of a new release date, leaving many to speculate if the project is now canceled. While talking about the project earlier this year, Murphy said that they were still trying to get the script right when he said the following. They're still trying to get that script right. I'm not doing a Beverly Hills Cop unless they have a really incredible script. I've read a couple things that look like they can make some paper, but I'm not doing a expletive movie just to make some paper. The expletive got to be right. Christian, your thoughts on Beverly Hills Cop 4 being pulled from the schedule?
I'm actually kind of happy about it being pulled from the schedule. I love Beverly Hills Cop. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the original, and I believe Martin Brest directed the original. Yep. And I think, look, Tower Heist, I didn't hate as much as I thought it was going to. And I actually wind up enjoying that movie. And I thought that, obviously, Eddie Murphy and Brett Ratner have a relationship. And that's always good when your star and your director can work together. I'm just not a big fan of what Brett Ratner does. And I don't necessarily think he would have brought anything new and exciting to Beverly Hills Cop, certainly. And we needed to get the third one so far out of our vision. And I don't think Brett Ratner would have been the guy to do it. And because I think he would go way too more comedy than action. And I know it's an action comedy, but the first movie, yes, there was a lot of comedy in Eddie Murphy's special comedy, but it was pretty gritty. It was dark. There was his best friend gets murdered in a hallway. There's like a drug trade going on. It had some dark moments. I don't know if Brett Ratner would have done that well. So I'm glad, and I'd like to see maybe another director eventually, because Eddie Murphy needs to come back. Do stand up first, Eddie.
The comment there, Eddie Murphy saying, I'm not just going to just do any movie to make some crappy money. Really?
Yeah.
Really? What do you call the last 20 years of your career? What was imagine that, a thousand words, everything he's done in the last 20. Actually, I'm also one of those guys that I actually didn't mind Tower Heist. And as far as Ratner goes, I'll always hold out a little bit of hope for him because he gave us Rush Hour 2, and I really like Rush Hour 2. But then he followed it up with Rush Hour 3, so whatever. I'm also glad. I always thought Beverly Hills Cop 4 was an ill-conceived idea. And look, we still don't know that the movie and the project itself is completely off the table. All we know is that Paramount's pulled it, no other schedule mentioned for it. So whether it's because they're still really just trying to get the script right or they just realized this ain't going to work. Either way, I actually don't think we're going to see it. So, but who knows?
I'm glad to hear that it got pulled. I would much rather see Bowfinger 2.
Me too.
Like Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy were at their funniest in doing that film about making films in Hollywood. It was such a fantastic role to see Eddie Murphy stretch and be the other brother of of the famous star. Eddie Murphy's so talented. I think Beverly Hills Cop 4 is beneath him, to be honest with you. I would love to see Beverly Hills Cop come out, which is just a straight up reboot. Just like how they did 21 Jump Street. It's like, it's been so many years. It's over 20 years since Beverly Hills Cop 3 came out, right?
Oh, the third one? Yeah, I think
it's gotta be.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Sinead was not born yet. 20, yeah. When Beverly Hills Cop came out, you did not exist. So that just is proof that Beverly Hills Cop has got to get rebooted, and Eddie Murphy should just do Bowfinger 2 because Sinead didn't exist.
And that's why. Yeah. Take it to the bank. All right, Sinead, what's next?
The Russo brothers, directors of the upcoming Captain America Civil War and the next two Avengers films, have announced that Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 will be shot entirely using IMAX and ARRI's next generation revolutionary 2D digital camera. A joint customized digital version of ARRI's new large format camera, the Alexa 65. The two-part Avengers saga makes the first time a Hollywood feature film will have been shot completely using IMAX cameras and will feature IMAX's exclusive aspect ratio, providing moviegoers a uniquely immersive experience. John, does this news excite you?
There's a couple things that I find exciting about this. The Ari camera, Ari's has always produced some like amazing stuff.
Yeah.
I love that it's a 2D camera. Because hopefully, I don't know, I probably getting my hopes. I don't want 3D anymore. I just get rid of 3D. Right. But they could always post convert it, sure. What's interesting though is if they're going to shoot it in that native aspect ratio. That's interesting to see. So what are you going to do with a lot of movie theaters that way? So I'm sure they've got a plan, but anything that pushes the viewing experience forward, I'm always good with. This sounds like a good thing to do. And doing something like this with a film like Avengers Infinity War, this is going to be beautiful to look at. Anyway, Christian, what do you think?
I agree, but don't hold your breath for the 3D.
Oh, no, I know. You're right.
Post conversion, because they're going to have to pay for that IMAX experience
to
make that money. So they're going to put it in 3D. But I love this news. Anytime one of my favorite tweets is, "Hey, should I watch this in IMAX or 3D?" Always IMAX. And if you happen to get IMAX 3D, whatever, but always IMAX. IMAX enhances the experience so much. The sound, the quality, everything about it. And they haven't been able to shoot a full movie yet. This is the first movie, and what a movie to do it to. I mean, my God, I agree with you so much. Anything to enhance the movie-going experience. There are certain movies that you don't necessarily need to see in a theater, especially now after this. This is a movie that is going to be, you have to see this in the theater.
This is like next level.
Yeah.
When you read about announcements like this, if you're a film fan and you like to go see movies and you hear something like this is that next level thing where you're taking a giant property like the Avengers, and especially something that's going to be shot over, all 9 months. They're shooting both films back to back. They're going to be released, a year apart or something. That's fantastic. And then to know that it's going to be in IMAX, all those special effects people are going to be working extra hard now because there's like double the width, double the space, double the size. Like the Hulk has to have extra pixels now. You know what I mean? It's going to be like we just had to purchase 48 extra render farms to be able to make this movie happen, but it's all for us. So I mean, it's a great thing. I think it's almost a thank you from the filmmakers from Marvel saying, look, we appreciate everyone supporting us and making the cinematic universe. So now we're going to make it even a bigger cinematic experience for you to shoot everything in IMAX. And if you haven't seen an IMAX film, I'm sure you guys have, but one of the more exciting things when you see the IMAX and it does the countdown with a little swirl, you're about to enter IMAX. And then it depends on the movie whether it lives up to that opening credit experience where you see how crisp and amazing IMAX can be. And then you've seen all these films that were only partially shot in IMAX or segments of it were shot in IMAX. Now we're going to get an entire film, a giant special effects bonanza, crazy superhero adventure shot in IMAX. So to me, it's incredible news. As a cinephile, I'm overjoyed.
Well, jumping off what Schnepp said also is that it's gonna open the doors for when it is successful, because it will be.
Oh yes,
other movies will be doing it. You'll get Star Wars in it. You'll get the Star Treks in it. You'll get all these big movies, big franchises that hopefully, if it works out, and when I guess the Russos afterwards are saying it actually was a pretty fun experience, then other people will be doing it. So I'm excited. I mean, Avatar, I'm sure will be the next Avatar's. Well, maybe not, because did they start shooting yet?
I don't think they started
shooting.
No,
they haven't started shooting.
The biggest obstacle with IMAX has always been the size of the camera. The cameras themselves, you cannot even like have one dude running around with it. It's so incredibly giant and heavy. Remember, the frames are this big, and now that it's digital, they've been able to compress everything and make everything smaller. It's like the transistor when it first came out. It was like the transistor was this big. Now there's 48 of them in your phone, or 4,000 of them. I don't even know how many. But as our technology's increased, we've been able to shrink the size of those cameras. Henceforth, people have been able to mount them on steady cams. Nolan was able to shoot a big bulk of some of the Dark Knight trilogy in IMAX, being able to use even big cameras. When you see what he was shooting, I think it was film. It was like, wow, that's very intense. But we're going digital now, which just makes sense.
So you're saying we'll be able to shoot IMAX on our phone in 10 years?
I think so.
Well, no, it's not that we're already shooting 4K on our cameras. But that is the big thing that I think we overlooked in this, is the fact that this is I believe this is going to be the first IMAX camera that is digital. Like gone is, there it goes. I mean, Quentin Tarantino's crying right now, but there goes the 75 millimeter print. I think this is a great thing. I think this is really good. And you're right. It's going to make these cameras manageable, whereas before they simply were not.
Yep.
All right, folks, we reached the part of the show for buy or sell. In front of her, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And then the rest of us are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Sinead, what do we got?
Well, the question no longer seems to be who is going to be in Captain America Civil War, but rather who isn't. According to Deadline, Revenge star Emily Van Camp is set to reprise her role as Agent 13 in Civil War. Van Camp previously played the role in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, posing as Steve Rogers' neighbor Kate, and was tasked with keeping an eye on him for S.H.I.E.L.D. Schnepp, do you buy or sell Emily Van Camp joining Captain America Civil War?
Well, I'm really excited that she's coming back. Isn't she playing like Sharon? Like the agent Sharon?
Well, the predominant theory is that Agent 13 is Sharon Carter, but they never said that in the movie, but it's kind of assumed.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm really happy to see that they're bringing her back, and maybe she's going to play a role in the Civil War or even the Captain America comic book that Brubaker wrote. We'll see how that progresses, but I'm happy to hear that she's in it.
Christian?
Yeah, I buy it. I think it connects to universes, and we don't know if it's going to be. It's not all about her. And before people go, there's too many characters in it. No, it's as opposed to just some random new character they have to explain. Oh, like I said before, it just ties it all together. She's going to be there, and I think, and I thought she was good in Winter Soldier for the small part she was in.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it too, as long as it's what we were just talking about. Yeah. It's a smaller role that instead of random person at door number 3, that it's Agent 13.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Does tie it together, and it keeps her fresh in our memories in case they do have larger plans for the character a little bit further down the road. So yeah, I think it's a buy.
Warner Brothers has just released a brand new full-length trailer for their upcoming sequel, Magic Mike XXL. Picking up the story 3 years after Mike bowed out of the stripper life at the top of his game, Magic Mike XXL finds the remaining kings of Tampa likewise ready to throw in the towel. But they want to do it their way, bringing the house down in one last blowout performance in Myrtle Beach, and with legendary headliner Magic Mike sharing the spotlight with them. On the road to their final show with whistle stops in Jacksonville and Savannah to renew old acquaintances and make new friends, Mike and the guys learn some new moves and shake off the past in surprising ways. Magic Mike XXL hits AMC Theaters on July 1st. Christian, do you buy or sell the new trailer?
I almost sold it, but Schnepp actually made me buy it. I'll say why in a second. But this is Age of Ultron for women. It really this is what I think. But Schnepp had said before, and I thought it was missing Soderbergh. As I was just producing it. It's not going to have that same deal, because I thought that when you tell people, oh, I'm going to see Magic Mike, like, why? And because Steven Soderbergh directed it too. I don't care what it's about. I'm going to go see it because I love that guy. And the movie turned out to be really good because you felt Soderbergh in it. I thought that he was just going to be kind of produced by Soderbergh, but he's apparently shooting it
and editing
and editing it. So his take, and again, some of the Schnepp and I were talking about it off air, was that the director's probably going to be able to use him whenever he wants to. And Soderbergh's probably not stepping on any toes, but so I'll buy it because of that. But the trailer itself kind of looks like almost Electric Boogaloo 2. Now they got to save the school, and it's so if it looks like these guys' chemistry, it's still there. It's missing Matthew McConaughey for sure, like, with replacing him with Jada Pinkett Smith. That's kind of a negative for me, but overall, because it's Soderbergh, because I can, if rewatching it, I can see the feel, and because I like the first movie, tentatively buy.
I am secure enough to tell you I like this trailer. I really did. Right from that opening shot with Joe Manganiello, as he's just walking to the convenience store and he starts dance humping the Coke machine or whatever it was, like, this dude's pretty fearless. Like, this performer doing something like this, and he's pouring water over his head. The trailer to me just had a really great feel to it. It had a very light, very fun feel to it. I love that one scene too with I cannot remember the actress's name from Groundhog Day. But
Andie
she goes,
MacDowell?
Andie MacDowell, thank you. When she's going, oh man, I wish we knew you guys back in my day. Ma'am, I think it still is your day. That's a great line. So it felt fun. It felt light. The fact that Soderbergh is so tightly integrated with it. I got to admit, I really like the trailer. So for me, it's a buy.
Yeah, I actually like the trailer. I didn't see the first Magic Mike, and I was like, I don't know if I want to see the second Magic Mike, but I just saw it with these guys, and I was laughing out loud. I was like, it's pretty funny. So, if I have to go see a male stripper movie, it's going to probably be Magic Mike 2XL. That is my shirt size. So I'm going to check it out and buy it.
Sure, they did announce a whole slating until 2019 of all male stripper movies.
Oh, right, yeah. Out of the 17
Do you remember,
movies,
I'll put this in post-production, so don't worry about it, but I don't know if you guys remember, but an AMC fan, I cannot remember who, sent us a picture of all of us as the Magic Mike crew. I'm going to pull it up here and show it to you guys. So So ridiculous. All right, what's next?
Disney Animation has announced their new feature film, Zootopia, which will feature the voices of Jason Bateman and Once Upon a Time star Jennifer Goodwin. In the film, the modern mammal metropolis of Zootopia is a city like no other, comprised of habitat neighborhoods like ritzy Sahara Square and frigid Tundra Town. It's a melting pot where animals from every environment live together, a place where no matter what you are, from the biggest elephant to the smallest shrew, you can be anything. But when optimistic Officer Hops arrives, she discovers that being the first bunny on a police force of big, tough animals isn't so easy. Determined to prove herself, she jumps at the opportunity to crack a case, even if it means partnering with a fast-talking wild to solve the mystery. John, do you buy or sell the sounds of Zootopia?
Sell. This sound, Officer Hopper?
Hops.
Hops? Whatever. No, I mean, look, Disney Animation has really been stepping it up, and they've been doing some really good stuff. This movie may be the next up. This movie may be the next big classic, but just the description of it alone, and that's all I have to go on. It's not doing anything for me, so I got to sell it. Schnepp?
I'm going to buy it mainly because it just sounds like they're trying to do something new, and I'm into that. Like whether it's definitely going to be aimed for kids, but they're creating a whole bunch of different little environments like Tundra Town and Mr. Hops and Barley or whatever. They're gonna have, I'm sure that the character is going to be really fun, and I'm gonna buy it just for the idea that it's something new and it's not something rehash.
I'm absolutely right. For me, it's buy as well because of that reason. It's new. It's not kind of taken from anywhere we've seen before. And because of the addition of Jason Bateman to see what he's going to do. And it's Disney Animation. They've been on a roll so far. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily pop if you didn't say Disney Animation Presents, and then it was just, if it was DreamWorks Presents, I'd be a little skeptical because it's Disney, and I start looking into it. I'm like, oh, this could be fun because Disney doesn't half-ass stuff. They put a lot of effort, time. There will be a lot of detail with all these. So that's why I buy it.
I can definitely vouch for Disney that they have because I worked for them for a little bit, and they have you go through a lot of rounds of reworking and reworking and reworking. So it gets to a point where you know that what is coming out, you can feel really confident with it. So even though the name Zootopia, if it was like Malibu presents Zootopia, I'd be like, what is this? Yeah. But since it says Disney, that does have a stamp of quality, and from behind the scenes, I could definitely say it has a stamp of like they work on it till it's ready to be presented.
My last thought on this is screw Zootopia. Where the hell is my Wreck-It Ralph 2? Come on, like seriously, Disney, where's Wreck-It Ralph 2?
I think they're working on it.
But doesn't that go back to the fact that they're working on an original? I applaud them for that too, because they know Wreck-It Ralph 2 is going to have excitement for it. Because even though you want it tomorrow, when it comes out in a year, 2 years, you're not going to be like, you waited too long.
Dude, they haven't even announced it yet.
I know, but even if it comes out in 3 years, you'll still be happy if finally you're getting it. It's not one of those movies that they waited too long. Wreck-It Ralph can still work, but the originality is what I applaud.
All right, folks, listen, we reached that part of the show for mailbag. If you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. So, Sinead, what's in the mailbag today?
Rebecca Russell writes, have you guys seen this picture of Joker and Harley floating around? Is it real or is it fake? The fakes are so good these days, it's almost impossible to tell the difference.
We got that picture here? Can we pull that picture up? Can we pull that picture full screen? No, we do not. All right, we'll put that in and post so you guys can see the picture that we're talking about. My guess right now is that it's fake. I think it's an excellent fake. Certainly, it's so good of a fake that I think there is a possibility it may be real. The way they set it up, I love the little "kick me" sign on the back. I love that she's doing pudding and all kinds. You know what? If it wasn't for the fact that she's wearing the exact same clothes as the other pictures we've seen already. If it wasn't for that, I might be more inclined to believe it was real. But because they're just taking everything that we already know and putting in that, I kind of believe it's fake. Something's off about it. It feels a little bit Photoshopped to me. But who knows? It might be real, because if it is fake, bravo. It's a fantastic fake. Schnepp, what did you think?
Yeah, when I looked at it, I was like, it's a little weird that they would take such a strange photo of the Joker. So it was like, as to not show him, and it's mainly highlighting Harley Quinn, and then her face is masked as well. So it could be a fake because it's done so well as like to not reveal any imperfections of the fakery. But if it's real, I think it's great. So either way, I like it.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw it, I was like, that's pretty cool. It kind of explains the tattoos.
And explains why he's kind of screaming in the one picture with
right.
his hands on his head and he's yelling.
Ah, yeah, really.
That would explain that.
Yeah, she's the tattoo artist. I don't know. I mean, it's very weird already, so I'm into it. So
there are some incredibly talented people on the internet. So
Yes,
I wouldn't be
there are.
surprised if somebody was like, hey, wait a minute. What if I got a kind of body like Jared Leto? I'll paint my hair, do a little pose like that. Get yourself up as Harley Quinn, and then we'll make it look like it's that picture. I could see that. But I'm going to be the optimistic idiot in the room, and I'm going to say I think it's real. And I wouldn't be surprised if they took a bunch of shots that they were going to release. That's one of them. And then they kind of leaked it and said, hey, play on, because it's gotten around fast.
Yeah.
We're going to find, I think we will find out if it's real or fake pretty soon.
I agree.
If we haven't by the time we post this. But I'll be the idiot in the room, and I'll say that I think that it's 100%.
Look, I believe it's fake, but it's so convincing. Yeah. I am absolutely not going to be shocked if tomorrow David Eric comes out and puts this up on his own Twitter account, because like you were saying, it explains a lot about this picture. The art on the back is very consistent with the art that we see in the original. And she's writing pudding. I even like that they slip a little butt crack in there to kind of play into the personality of it and the fact that he's screaming. It very well could. I'll still lean towards fake because I'm a skeptical dude about this stuff now, but it's pretty interesting. All right, what's next?
Francisco Guarnero writes, hello, movie talkers. How come there's not more AMC Prime Theaters? I can't find any in my area.
Yeah, you've heard us talk on the show a lot about how, like, take everything I say with a grain of salt because I work for AMC Theaters, but this is what I honestly, the best movie-going experience is the AMC Prime Theaters. And I actually, that question got sent to me this morning. I'm like, that's a great question. I don't know how many Primes are. There are actually right now only 9 AMC Prime Theaters. But here's the thing. We talked last week about that new deal that AMC has just signed with Dolby Digital, and these brand new theaters rolling out called Dolby Cinema at AMC Prime. This is going to be the best viewing experience you've ever seen. These new projector systems are a dual laser projector system, and we talked about it before. It's going to be insane. Everybody I've talked to who's gone to the demonstrations, actually, I know you're going to be going to one of the demonstrations. Yeah. I'm going to one of the demonstrations soon to see ourselves, but every report I've heard is like, it's nothing you've ever seen before. So AMC is going to be rolling out more AMC Primes to facilitate the Dolby Digital cinemas. And I think by the end of 2018, we're going to have 50 across the country. Right now, there's only 9. Now, why aren't there just more Primes right now? They're expensive. They're real expensive to make. So I think there's 2 in LA. I know there's at least 1 in New York, and there's 1 in Kansas, where the other 5 are right now. But we're going to start rolling out more by the end of 2018. There's going to be 50 of these things, and there should be one close enough to you that you can drive one to check one out if you really want to.
And let me just say, it's worth driving to because it changes the cinematic experience. It's like it's a very comfortable lazy boy electronic chair that you're going to be like, hey, this is fun. I'm not even watched the movie yet, it's like it just changes it. You're in a plush seat, the sound is right there with
Dolby
you.
Atmos sound in there.
I mean, the projection itself is incredible. It definitely is a cinematic experience add-on. So
all right, folks, listen, not only do we like to take your questions via email, we love taking your questions via Twitter as well. So hop on Twitter, tweet out a question. All you got to do is put in the hashtag AMC Movie Talk and it'll get to us. So Sinead, what are people asking on Twitter?
Colin tweets, with all the sports references you make, which sports movie do you like the best?
Well, Christian, let's start with you. What's your favorite sports movie?
Major League.
Oh, that's so
I
good.
love Major League. I can watch Major League any time it is on. I don't think you need to be a sports fan. You can enjoy that movie. The personalities, the first one. Then it just gets really silly. But Charlie Sheen at his best, Tom Berenger, Wesley Snipes. I mean, and Lou Brown. I'll call you back later.
And, why am I forgetting the commentator's name?
Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker.
So good.
Oh my gosh. Schnepp, I know you're not a sports fan, but what would be some of your sports movies?
There's plenty of sports movies that I love. 8 Men Out, which is a John Sayles movie about the infamous Black Sox with John Cusack. What an incredible movie. Another one is with Burt Reynolds with the Mean Green Machine when they're in prison. And
Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. The original Longest Yard is one of my favorite films as far as just fun comedy action. And I'd say definitely just thinking about it, Kevin Costner's, that dream.
Field of Dreams?
Yeah, Field of Dreams was really cool.
Well, I obviously got to throw in Rocky and Warrior. Those are two movies. I think
Rocky for sure.
Warrior's the best MMA movie that I think has ever been made.
Oh yeah, Warriors is one of the best combat sports movies ever made. For me, there's a couple. Mystery Alaska with Russell Crowe. Nice. It was my first real exposure to Russell Crowe was Mystery Alaska. That movie it's funny, it's touching, and it's about hockey. So I mean, there you go. Miracle, another one about hockey.
Is The Goon. That was one of my favorite hockey films.
Underrated movie.
So much fun.
Yeah. Slapshot, also a movie about hockey. One of the best comedies ever
Mighty
made.
Ducks.
Maybe not so much the Mighty Ducks, but my all-time. I won't go too into it because we did this on Mailbag about 5 months ago. My all-time favorite sports movie, though, bar none. Eric Roberts' Best of the Best. James Earl Jones. It is one of the few movies that has a scene in it that gives a pass for dude tears. Dude tears are permitted in Best of the Best. That end when Dahan goes up to Tommy after he kills his brother and says, "I'm not going to get worked up. I swear to God, I'm not going to get too worked up."
He loves
this.
He loves this.
Dahan walks up to him and he says, I deeply regret the loss of your brother because he killed him years earlier accidentally. And he takes off his gold medal and puts it on Tommy. Look at my arms. Puts it on Tommy and goes, "I offer myself as your new brother." Dude tears.
Yeah.
Dude
What's
tears.
it called?
Best of the Best.
It's a good one.
James Earl Jones,
You
Eric
just
Roberts.
reminded me, Bad News Bears, the original Bad News
with
Bears.
Mathau.
And another one that also stars Rorschach is called Breaking Away. It's a bicycle film.
Yes! I
Biking
remember
film.
that.
It was like 4 or 5 dudes who were just the cutters and they would like bike around. But one guy really wanted to make it into like, I can't even remember, but I loved that movie so much. If you haven't seen it, look it up, Breaking Away.
And the last one I should mention as far as football movies was my favorite football movie. Not a lot of people have seen it, but should, is The Program. I love The Program. It's with James Caan and Craig Sheffer.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
what was the one?
movie.
What was the one football? Not
Latimer?
on our top list at all. But it was actually rather Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman.
Replacements?
The Replacements.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not bad.
And John Favreau was in that. Remember?
Was he in that one? I know
Yeah,
he
he
was
was
in Rudy.
like he was an ex FBI guy who's now
Oh,
going to
wow,
play
right.
football and blah. Yeah.
He
What's
was in
that
Rudy,
movie that
too.
had Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter? He was a football coach.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, I can't remember.
Anyway.
All right, what's next on Twitter?
CJ tweets, "Hey guys, just wondering if you have heard any talk or news about a Scream 5 movie being done."
There were some reports going around in the last day or two that there might be movement, but the guys over at Bloody Disgusting did some digging around, and those stories were rooted in stories that actually came out like 18 months ago. And then Bloody Disgusting followed up, and he said with his sources at the studios, they said, nope, no movement on Scream 5. I don't think we're going to see a Scream 5. I mean, maybe some direct VOD stuff that maybe has a $1 million budget or whatever, but the 4 underperformed. I don't think they're going to move anywhere with it.
I think they're way harder to do. Yesterday we were talking about Friday the 13th. I think Friday the 13th is a way easier movie to do because you got to remember that the first Scream was essentially a spoof of all the other horror movies, what Wes Craven did. So I think that it really lost its luster after 2. I mean, I know some people liked 4. I didn't. I don't think we need to see anymore, so I hope no more.
Beverly Hills Cop Scream 5.
Yeah, they're good. Good crossover. Good,
Yeah, the crossover. Eddie Murphy said, "What's going on?"
Somebody make us that poster.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop Scream 5. All right, last one.
Belinda tweets, "Could Daisy Ridley's character Rey be a Skywalker? She looks so alike to Anakin's mom Shmi and to Padme and Leia as well."
Well, it's certainly the word. I mean, there's been nothing official that's claimed that, but I think you and I were talking about it once that the first time we saw her, she looks a lot like Shmi. I mean, that's what jumped out at me. That doesn't necessarily mean that's the way they're going, but it seems to make sense. So my guess, although understand it's completely a guess, is that I think you're right. I do believe she is either a Skywalker or of the Skywalker lineage. Christian, what do you think?
When the legendary stuff, when all the expanded universe stuff got nixed out, you and I talked about this, that they were going to cherry pick stuff throughout
Yes.
those. I think that they did that with both Daisy Ridley, and this is again me just guessing, and Adam Driver.
I thought you were going to say John Boyega.
No, Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, I believe, are the twins.
Skywalkers.
I think they're Han Solo and Leia's kids for sure, and I think that'll probably, whether we find that out in The Force Awakens, I don't know, but eventually we will. I think that's kind of what's happened in the universe.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't draw the comparison with Shmi. I like just saying her name. Shmi.
She's tall too.
Yeah. And the little head thing and stuff is like, yeah, but that kind of makes sense because the Star Wars main movies are about the Skywalkers. So it would make sense that the twins are in that. So.
All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for us for this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and of course, your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description below, and you'll find a link to our podcast feed so you can listen to us anytime you want. And most importantly, click that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me, sitting over here, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp or at TDOSLWH. I'll be taking my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, out to London at the MCM London Comic-Con. So please, all you UK sweaties, buy your tickets online right now. The tickets are going fast, so please come on by and say hi to me and check out the film. It's May 23rd, 24th.
Sitting over here, Mr. Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people find you?
Well, because Mark's not here to do it, to promote his stand-up, I'll do it. You can find my stand-up on YouTube. Go look at it. No, as far as Jedi Council goes, tonight, usually around 7, 8 o'clock, I guess. Right?
5 or 6, yeah.
Hashtag AMC Jedi Council. Get your questions on there. It's a stacked episode. There was so much Star Wars news that dropped. We're going to be talking about. We may even bring up what we just talked about here, go a little more depth on it. Check it out.
And of course, our lovely host today, Miss Sinead DeFries' hair. Sinead, where can people find you online?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com.
And you can find me on the various social media networks. Just follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, simply at John Campio. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, bye-bye.
It's been 4 days since I got my hair.